Hi, Tracy here with BibleJournalingMinistries.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can make your own art journal out of a magazine you might have lying around. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. All right, I had quite a few people ask me how I make my magazine art journals. So this is it's an art journal. It's a faith art journal, and it's really made out of a magazine. So I'll just kind of flip through it real quickly so you can see some of the things that I put in here. But it is not something that you buy at the store. It is just something that I have made that I just do my occasional faith art journaling in it. And this was a painted prayer for my husband. This one has a message that says, I'll be present in every moment. And it's just, this is kind of fun play. And it's where I do a lot of different types of experimenting to see like what would work in a journal, or maybe what might work on a page, like maybe as thin as the Bible. So it just gives me a chance, you know, and also to use a lot of things. This is one that I'm working on. Just use some things that I might have and not really worry about the preciousness of a brand new art journal or anything. So you can see this is just magazine pages. So I'll show you how I put it together. But I did want to show you, and we'll make one together. Just I will show you how I do it. So, and then here's the back page. And then it's just a little, you know, art journal that I can take with me. I can go, you know, it's really short, like short this way, thin, I guess, I don't know. But it just, you know, you could throw it in your bag and you don't have to worry about it. It's not something that's like super precious that you spend a lot of money on. I literally make them out of magazines either that I've purchased or, you know, gift catalogs that have come in the mail. It's just a great way to reuse some of the stuff you would normally throw away. So for those of you guys who asked for the tutorial, here we go. So if you are going to do this with me, you're going to need a magazine. So I have a couple here. Here's one that I've already done. Here's another one that I'm working on. And then here's one that just came in the mail. And really that's what you need. You're going to need a magazine and some kind of glue or tape or whatever you want to use. Okay. Then later you'll need things like, you know, ephemera or junk that you might have around. So I have a couple bags in here, and we won't get into this part because this is obviously the art journaling part, but I have like strips of trash and, you know, magazines, cutouts, things like that you'll, you know, eventually need to use. And I might use some of that maybe on the cover or when we make the cover. But I just keep bags around me that I can just use. Like I might, like this, actually this one was actually used. You can't see it in here because it's no longer there. But you can, it was actually placed on the edge of this to kind of give the edge a little more reinforcement, but also to create a little texture in the background. So just kind of grab some junk that you have near you and, you know, do this with me. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Okay. And it's totally free because you should have everything. Now, let's see. And some stencils. Stencils are always good, and paint you can have. So when it comes to selecting your magazine, a lot of times people don't like the glossy magazines, but those are the ones that I get in the mail, so I use them. This one here is a gift catalog that came in the mail, and it was a paper one here. So I like the paper one. It does kind of take the paint a little bit better. But I was able to, you know, instead of throwing out the catalog after I was done with it, I was able just to kind of repurpose it, and it'll be one of my future little art journals, free art journals. I love it. You also need, so when you get started, you need your magazine. You'll need some tape, so the double-sided tape or some glue. I have this, you know, washable glue stick. If you're going to do any decorating with me, we'll probably need some gesso. We'll need some matte medium. We'll need, you know, other kinds of things. So, you know, definitely grab that. And let's go ahead and get started. I'll start with the base on this, and I'll show you how we can finish it off. It's really easy, you guys. So the first thing I do is I do my main page last. And then the first thing I do is I take the first page and I just fold it over this way. And I like to fold it over this way because, let me show you why. So I'm going to fold it over just towards the center of the magazine. And the reason why I do this is because I don't want to see any, I don't want to have a chance of this maybe the lip of, so if I were to fold it this way and glue it down, you see how I have this kind of an opening here that might kind of come up, or it might, as I'm turning the page, it might kind of flip on me. So I don't like that. So I'm just going to place it down like this. And I'm going to go ahead and fold all of them towards the center. And then we'll get to gluing in just a minute. This is a nice magazine. It was, for those of you guys who don't know, I am a former engineer. I graduated out of the University of Arizona, did about a decade working for a semiconductor company, helping them be really efficient with their factory. That was my job. My job was to eliminate costs. And it was a good job, but I didn't really like it because sometimes my job required me to kind of eliminate people costs in people's jobs. So people didn't really like it, nor do I blame them either. I don't think I would have liked me either. Here's the girl that's going to potentially eliminate your job. So they weren't really friendly when I would come in to do my job, but that's neither here nor there. It was a good job to have at the time. So I'm just folding this over, because a lot of times, again, I fold them this way because a lot of times, again, I usually flip this way. So this is the easy part. You just, you know, you can do this while you're watching TV. And we're almost done. See how quick it can be? I don't rip my pages out. Some people do. They rip them out and to kind of make it a thinner book, but I never do. If my book is having a hard time closing, or I want it to be a little bit flatter, or if I'm transporting it, I just put a little clip on it. One of these little clips. Otherwise, it's just a little bit fat, but it's not too bad. It's definitely sturdy. All right, and that's the end, okay? So this is the inside of your art journal, okay? Now the outside here, you're gonna make it bigger. So if you were to do it just directly like this, okay, it's gonna be the same size as this, but I like my covers to be just a little slightly bigger. So as I take about, I'd say maybe 1/4 of an inch out. So leave about 1/4 of an inch between here and the edge. And if this bothers you, like you don't like this much space, then eventually you could just get a piece of cardstock and just paste it here if you want to. But that gives you a little bit of a lip here at the edge. So again, it's just like 1/4 of an inch, and I'm not accurate about these things. I don't go get my ruler and measure it. This is, again, this is not a precious, you know, art journal. It's just something to have, to practice in and use, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to start gluing things down. I won't glue the whole thing down, but you have options, okay? So if you are not going to do a lot of wet medium, so you're not going to use gesso, a lot of matte medium, stuff like that, you can use a tape runner, and it will make your pages really flat. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to use a tape runner here. I'm just going to put a couple, and I'll do one on the end here as well, just to kind of make sure it gets pasted down really good. Okay. So you see how this is nice and flat? Okay. It doesn't have any wrinkles on it. There's no medium that's been on it. It's relatively flat. Okay. Now over on this side, let me just show you what it looks like if I do a glue stick. So for those of you guys who don't like the wrinkliness of paper, then, you know, use a tape gun and then keep everything dry. You can certainly cover this up, these pages up, with stickers, with, you know, I don't know, leftover papers and things that you have. You know, just junk that you have around your house is fine. So then I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to glue this down here. And make sure I get it all glued down. And then I'm just going to place this down like this. Okay? And you'll do this for every page. And I won't do it for this video because it'll be an extra 10 minutes to do all that. But you can see now that this page is just a little bit more wrinkly than this page here. So this one was dry and this one was wrinkly. Okay? So if you want to keep things nice and straight and clean, and you're not going to use any wet medium, then you can use tape. Or, I mean, you can still use tape. It's just going to bunch up and look a little bit weird, which is okay. I mean, I really love the way it looks. So I don't really pay close attention, but I know that some of you guys really like things not wrinkly. But I like it wrinkly. Let me show you an example. Here's one here that's wrinkly. The page is a little bit wrinkly, but I think that it shows a lot of like different textures and dimension to the page. Here, let me show you. This one's a little wrinkly. Let me see if I thought I did one that was pretty wrinkly. This one's not as wrinkly. Let's see. Trying to see. Like this. This one has a little bit of wrinkles in it. You can see maybe on the camera if I just kind of show you. There's like a bump in it that's right here. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. So, you know, if it bothers you, then make sure that you're paying attention to it. Another thing that you might do with your covers is if you want to make them stronger, you can take a little piece of like cardboard and just like the size of this one, the size of this half, just glue the cardboard on there and then glue it in there and it'll make a harder, you know, a hard cover. But I don't worry about that either. I just have fun. Guys, again, this isn't precious to me. This is me just kind of playing with paint, having a lot of fun, not worrying about anything. So let's get started on doing the cover, because I think the cover is probably something, if you know how to do the cover, you can do any of it, right? Like this cover was done, I basically put it like this. And then I glued my stuff on there, and then I sprayed a bunch of ink on it, let it dry, added my stickers, and then put a nice shiny varnish on top of it. That's how I did this one. So for this one, I'll just do something a little bit more simple. I'm first going to grab a little bit of acrylic gesso. So gesso is just something that creates a nice foundation for your paint. So it's like, well, I better glue this one down because I'm going to work on the back of this. So it's like I'm trying to think how to say it, but like before you build a house, you have to have a solid foundation. You have to have something that things can sit on top of. And that's what gesso does for you. Otherwise, the paint will move maybe in ways that you didn't expect it to move, and it might be a little disappointing. So that's why I use gesso. Okay, and again, I'm not being very precious. This is Master's Touch acrylic gesso. I get it at Hobby Lobby, and I get it when it's 50% off. So it's just the cheap stuff that Hobby Lobby has. Let's see. $7.99, so when it's 50% off, it's like $4. It might be a little higher now. I think this bottle's a couple years old. Acrylic gesso lasts a good long time. So, and I don't worry about, again, I don't worry about any of the stuff. So I don't worry about like, you know, oh, the lines aren't going a certain way. Don't care. I just have fun. So I hope that you will just join me in having fun today. We won't worry about things that don't need to be worried about. There's a lot of things to worry about in life, and this is not one of them. We should not be worried about anything, honestly. But I just feel like if we are going to worry about something, it's definitely not this gesso. Okay. So you'll let it dry for a bit. And while I'm letting it dry, I'm just going to think through some of the things I might want to put on it. So I have this really big doily. Okay. And I think it would make a really nice texture to it. So you can get these doilies at the Dollar Tree. You get like a ton of them at the Dollar Tree if you buy them in a pack. Oh, look, there's even 2 there. So I'm just going to glue that down, and I can use anything to glue it down with. I might use some matte medium. It's a little bit, oh, that's new. Don't really want to open up a new one. Let me see if I have one that's already open. Now I'll just use matte medium. It's fine. So matte medium is something that I use to stick things down. You guys we learn all about these mediums and things like that when in our faith art journaling. So if you have taken our faith art journaling, this is new. This is not new to you. But I use matte gel when I'm pasting down things that are thicker. I use matte medium when I'm collaging things that are like thin paper, stuff like that. And we talk all about this in our Faith Inspirations program. That's our mixed media class. And it's more of a mixed media challenge than it is a class. So we just have a lot of fun where we're doing faith art journaling together. And, you know, we do a Zoom call. I think this year we're doing Zoom calls. We're going to do Zoom calls every other month, 3 times this session. And we just, you know, pray for each other during those calls. We'll answer any questions that you have. It's just kind of fun. It's actually an excuse for me to actually see you guys on camera because a lot of times you guys see me. And so it's nice for me to be able to see you. And it's not the same as our Momentum program. Our Momentum program is Bible journaling focused. Our faith art journaling is art journaling focused. So a little different in terms of the things we paint on, the things we, you know, yeah, the things we paint on or draw on. But that's kind of the difference, because otherwise it's all about focusing on the Lord and, you know, learning his word and being with him and building a relationship with him and spending time with him. And never feel guilty about your time with the Lord. Oh, look at this. Do you see how this is kind of a little bit blue, even though I haven't used any blue color? It's because it's picking up some of that, some of the color that's on the magazine. And that's another thing you get to learn when you're taking classes like, you know, faith art journaling or Bible journaling. You get to learn, like, you know, I don't stop when I make a mistake. I show you, like, how do I fix it? And why is it doing this? And is it bothering me? And if it's bothering me, then what do I do? A lot of times it doesn't bother me, though. You can see there is quite a bit of movement here in terms of the paper. But again, not precious, not worried about it. It'll calm down in a bit. Okay. I'm gonna try to push it down a little bit more. Try to get some of those bubbles out if I can. And this is just creating a little bit of texture for the background. Okay. I'll give that a moment to dry as well. And while that's drying, I will just show you just a little sneak peek of Faith Inspiration Season 1 printables. So for those of you guys who don't know anything about Faith Inspirations, it is our, again, mixed media challenge. And what I mean by that is that every month, these are the printables for the month, so you print them out at home. I've put mine in little plastic holders so that I don't get them dirty. But each month you get a challenge. So it'll say, okay, our challenge verse is going to be Luke 1:26 through 38. And this year, or this season, it's actually a 6-month season. You pay once, it's not monthly. You just pay one time. We're going to do Women of the Bible. So you can see here in month 1, we're actually going to be focused on Mary, Mother of Jesus. So in the challenge, we have a challenge verse, Luke 1:26 through 38. I actually read the verse. I do a little bit of study with you online, and then we go into the challenge. So I'll read the Bible. I may read my study Bible, may give you some thoughts. I'm never going to tell you what to think. I encourage you to work with the Holy Spirit, to hear what the Holy Spirit has to say to you. And I like you to do your own Bible study and not just, you know, do whatever I say. I hope that makes sense. I think sometimes at least I've noticed with me, sometimes if a pastor says something, I'll just take what he says, and then I'm a little bit lazy, and I won't do my own study sometimes. So, but I have found that sometimes the way the pastor's interpreting it is different than what the Holy Spirit says to me. So I'm working on it, and I just encourage you to work on it. Sometimes what the pastor says, maybe not what you interpret it as. And that's good, because then you can go to the pastor and have a dialogue, right? So then we have a verse, then we have like different things we do. Like this one is mask off the area. Then we're going to splatter some paint. We're going to add a focal image. We're going to outline the focal image. We're going to add some images. We're going to journal. We're going to add glitter. We're going to add a border. Okay. And then you have a bunch of downloads. So everything's delivered via email. You basically get this printout here, and then you have all these downloads that you can click the link and download. And so you also will click here, and then you will have the video that you can follow along with that shows, this one here shows the supplies. And for Faith Art Journaling, I do allow downloading the videos to keep for later. And that is, we don't do that in Momentum, only in Faith Art Journaling. Then we have the challenge video where you see how I did the challenge. And then you have all your printables. So this one here is Mary. Then we have her smaller Mary. Then we have some collage paper, or you can use these for stenciling. Then we have some beautiful verse pages for you to use as background paper or for whatever reason. And then we have additional ephemera you can use as well. So, and then we have the verse on some script kind of paper. So that just is repeated every month for 6 months, and then we take a break for 6 months, and we come right back. So that is Faith Inspirations in a nutshell. Again, not the same as Momentum, which is our Bible journaling program. Faith Inspirations is all done, you can see, in little art journals. So here is mine, just a real quick. I'm not going to show all of them, but I will show a few of them just because, I'm trying to keep some things a secret for the girls that are in the group. So hopefully you understand why I do that. All right. So this is, somewhat dry. I would probably, if I wasn't on camera, dry this a little bit more. But I want to just go ahead and proceed so that you can kind of see how to get this started. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of paint here and there. Again, I'm not being precious about this. I'm having just a lot of fun. So that's what I do. I just throw a little bit of paint here and there. Oh, I already did that color. You can spray ink as well. I mean, that's what I did with the other one. So you could, spray some ink if you want to. You can, really do it however you feel like you want to do it. This is just a palette knife. I'm just coming in and just moving the color around with my palette knife. Just creating a really interesting, different background. And I can come in and add more paint later if I want to, but I'm just kind of working in there for a bit and see what I'm happy with, and then I'll come back and have a little play with some other colors. But this is very playful for me. I love to see the colors move together. It's really fun for me. So that's why I do it. And for those of you guys who are familiar with the term mixed media, you will notice that, I have some collage in the background. Now I'm doing paint. So there you go. I've done some mixed media. When I first took my first mixed media class, I took it with some professionals, and they didn't tell you anything. Like, I was like, what? Why am I using this? Why am I doing this? And I was so blessed. I had this wonderful woman next to me who was like, oh, well, here's what that is and here's what it's for. But they would just tell you, they would say, use some gesso. And then, everybody would go get the gesso. And I'm like, what's gesso? Where is it? What do I do with it? And then, why do I need it? And the girl next to me, I think she rolled her eyes because she was like, how do you not know what gesso is? And I'm like, look, I'm new. I don't know. And I had a lot of fun, but it wasn't very instructional. So there is I do have a free a free class for Faith Inspirations, and I'll link that below. So do take the class and enjoy it and have fun with it. It's my gift to you. You don't have to attend Faith Inspirations if you don't want to. Like, it's like I really just am here to kind of give you the tools to get started. And then if you want to journey with us and do Faith Inspirations, we'd love to have you. But if you don't, we just, are so glad you stopped by, and hopefully you'll tell somebody that might be new about the free courses that we have. And we have free courses in Bible journaling. We have free courses in mixed media. And I'll link those down in the description for you so that you have the free classes that you can take. And I hope that it does really get you started on your journey, wherever that will be, whether with us or without us. Okay, so I have now added my paint, and I love this so far. Now you can see, you can't really see the collage that we did with the doily, but that's okay, I don't mind. You can see just a little bit, and that's really what I'm looking for. Okay. Then you want to let this dry. I'm not letting it dry only because I don't want to get the thing out to dry it and then have to edit it and do all that stuff. So let yours dry. I'm going to grab some stencils. These stencils are, you get these packs in Amazon. I did a whole thing on these stencils. And how, cheap they were on Amazon. And that's where I got mine. So these are really cool. I really wish that was dry. You really do want them to be dry before you use them, because I'll put this down and it'll make a certain mark, which you might not like. So let your layers dry. Be sure to clean off your utensils too. Okay. During our classes, I usually will fast forward through any of the drying, because who likes to watch paint dry? It is not me. I do not like watching paint dry. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add just a little bit of black to my palette here. This is just a baking sheet. I'm going to just grab a little bit of it real lightly with my hand. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just press it down. And hopefully it'll stay. It's a little bit wet here, but that's okay. Again, you don't want to work with wet layers. You want to make sure you're drying in between layers. And I'm good with that. Just lift this up a little bit. Ooh, that is cool. I'm going to do that up here on the edge too. Up here. Yeah, like that. And I do the same thing. And they have like two corners of this really cool circular pattern that came with the stencil that I got. And I love these stencils from Amazon because you get so many of them and it's really inexpensive and you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes you get things, you know how you buy, like I've paid $20+ for certain stencils, and I've been like, really very, very careful with them. Let's just say, like, when they're that expensive, you're kind of like, but then, and then the problem is I don't use it. I'm afraid that I'm going to get it ruined. And so then I don't use it as much as I should. And so, to have things that aren't as precious. And I think that is another reason why it's so good to do these little art journals, because how if you have something like an art journal that you spent $20 on, you might think, oh, all I want is the good stuff in there. So I'm only gonna put the good stuff in there, and I'm not gonna use it unless I think the art's gonna come out great, right? Well, then you end up not doing it and you end up not using it. At least that is my case. So when you have these little junk journal ones that you just make out of, magazines or ads that you get in the mail, then you can just feel free. You can feel free to use it and to, you don't have to worry about it. You just use it. And that's the point. Something you would have thrown away anyway. So, and then you can just keep experimenting and getting better and better and better at what you're doing, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's why I do that. Okay. So this is good. Now I'm going to have to dry this part. So I'll be right back. I do need to dry this. Okay, I am back. I wanted to show you what I was talking about whenever you use the tape versus the glue. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but I can see like the tape lines here, and anywhere there's not a tape line, there's like a little bit of wrinkliness to it. So I'll kind of show it this way just so you can kind of maybe see a little bit of it. But again, it does not bother me, but if it does bother you, and you don't like these wrinkles and things like that, then just make sure that you're taping and using dry things. Don't come in and use any of these mediums that we're using. Okay, so here we are. We have the cover. You can see it actually looks really cute already. It's super cute. I love it. And now I want to do the top. And for the top, I have a printable. I'm just going to grab one of my printables. This one here. This one's actually available on our store. It's Micah 6:8, Walk Humbly with God. It says, He has shown you, oh man, what is good. What does Yahweh require of you? But to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And then it has some of the larger images on it. So I've actually used this before in my Bible or in some other art journaling, and today I'm going to use it in my art journaling. So your Bible journaling supplies and printables can be used anywhere. You don't have to use them. It doesn't have to be only for Bible journaling. It can be for art journaling. It can be for whatever you want to use it for. So it can be for planners. So I like this guy here, walking. And then I want to use the word walk humbly with God. So I'm going to grab that. This is just printed out. This is actually printed out on a shipping label. And I cut it out with my Silhouette machine. And if you are in Momentum and you go to course 1, that shows you exactly how I did it. If you're not in Momentum though, and you search our blog for Print and Cut or Cricut, you search the Bible Journaling Ministries blog for Cricut, you'll find the article that shows you how to use a Silhouette machine, which is what I have, Brother Scan and Cut, and Cricut. So it's a whole article on how to use it. So I'm just pulling out, trying to pull the sticker. There we go. Without, I don't want to rip it. Okay. So all right, I'm just going to place that down like so. And like so. Okay. Now, for those of you guys who are like, oh my goodness, there's a big thing of white there. If that bothers you, the only thing you need to do then is grab just a little bit of your paint. The 3 colors that are in the background there. Just a little bit. I don't use a lot. Okay. And just grab it. You can grab all of them at the same time if you want to, but I don't. And just come in here and work it into the background. You may need a smaller paintbrush. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a little bit here. Just add it into the background. A little bit of blue. There, and you can barely tell that it wasn't there to begin with. A little bit of purple, a little bit of blue here and there, all kinds of fun. A little bit of blue here. All right, I'm good. All right, so there's that. I am going to wipe that away just because I know I'm going to stick my hand or something on it. All right. Let's see. I like this one. I don't know if it's going to work. So what I'll do next is audition this piece. Oh, no, I was going to say, when I say audition, so what I would do is like put this guy right here and go, okay, does he work there? Yeah, he does work there. He actually looks kind of cool. I might do that. Another option is to use the smaller guys because like in the real world, the guys in the background, they're smaller. So like I could use this guy who's walking, right? And he's kind of in the background of the page. So it just depends. Do I want to use that guy or this guy? I'm going to use this guy. And that's just called auditioning. Maybe I'll have another guy. Let's see. Yeah, he's fine there. All right, cool. So there's that. Now these are stickers, so they're going to be stuck there. And the final thing that I do with my journal covers is I varnish them. So make sure they're stuck, make sure they're dry, and then we can varnish them. So if you're going to use, you can use this Master's Touch gloss varnish. I find it to be a little thick, so I'm not going to use it, but you can get this from Hobby Lobby for like, yeah, $8.99, or maybe it's a little more expensive these days. But I do love this one. This is a gloss varnish. That is high gloss. And you can tell I love it because I use it a lot. So I'm just going to put it on there. And then I'm just going to varnish it. You can also use a spray varnish if you want. That will work fine as well. Just, you know, have fun. Use the varnish you like the most. And I'm really kind of quick about it. And you're right, like for those of you that are like, you shouldn't, you know, just pour your varnish on your page like that. That's not, you know, proper technique. Totally get it, totally get it. Again, this is not art that I'm selling. This is stuff that, you know, this is my journal that I'm using to get me to do more art journaling and to get in the word more. And that's more important to me than proper, you know, varnish technique. So do what works for you and have fun with it. And the idea is that, you know, when you're doing your Bible journaling or whether you're doing your faith art journaling, that you're just, you know, spending more time with God and just, you know, being in his word and being in his presence and learning who he is. And in the meantime, also learning who you are in him. And I hope that this is encouraging to you. And if it has been encouraging, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up because it will definitely help our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We really do appreciate you. And we want to journey this with you. We want to journey life with you and honor God with everything that we have. And that's what we do at Bible Journaling Ministries, or at least that's what we do our best to try to do. And we just enjoy having you along. So again, if you are interested in any of our free courses, our free art journaling class, or our free Bible journaling course, I will put that down below. If you are going to join us for Faith Inspirations, definitely do that as well. I will make sure it starts January 1st, so you definitely want to get in before that. Of course, if you join us later, you'll just, you know, you'll get everything. You'll just, you know, you'll come into our group and you'll just be behind a little bit, but that's okay. Like, just, you know, have fun with it. So I hope this encouraged you. This is going to be the final. So when it's done, it'll look like this, all nice and shiny, beautiful. I'll actually go ahead and dry it off so you can see it. Usually I let my varnish sit and dry on its own, but I'll dry it just so you can see the shininess of it when we're done. You do see I did pick up a little bit here. Did I of the paint? Looks like there was some blue there. I picked it up. I could come in and fix that, but I'm not going to, because I don't know if it was there or not to begin with, because I have some white space here too, and I don't see where that blue would have been. So it looks good to me. I'm going to keep it. I'll dry it. I'll be right back. All right, and here is the final. It's got a really beautiful glossy color to it, glossy shine to it. And it really does help also reinforce the edges and things like that with the doily here. And it'll be really nice and fun to do some art journaling in. So I hope this was encouraging to you, and you have a very, very, very wonderful rest of your week. Goodbye.